All right, we all hate it when this happens. Let's talk about when we shred the tip. It can be just the worst when you're working on a reed and it's almost finished and then you knock the corner of the tip off. Sometimes maybe a little more than the corner of the tip off, and then the reed, if it's too much, isn't usable anymore. So I totally get it. We've all been there, and it still happens even if you've been making reeds for decades. But there are a couple things you can do to prevent that from happening, and also just in your knife technique and how you scrape to prevent your tip from shredding. So I'll show you just a couple things. Okay, so first put your plaque in the reed. Here we go. Now, if I need to thin this tip down to get a little more response or just to refine it, then usually that happens over in the corners or at the very tip. You can see in this reed, it's thicker on the left-hand side right here above the V line. And what I want to do is narrow that. So I'll actually rotate my wrist so that the knife angles away from the center of the reed. And I'm using the very tip of the knife. That guarantees that I'll take cane out exactly where I want to take it out. If I'm taking flatter, the middle part of the knife, so flatter strokes here, then I could easily press too hard and rip that corner off. But if you use just the top little millimeter of the knife, you can be very pinpointed. And it also would behoove you to sharpen your knife, because if the knife is not sharp, then it will probably rip the tip. But notice how with a sharp knife and angling away from the center, so I move to the right side, I angle my knife away and to the right. But I can move it in all directions, but this is just the way that feels comfortable. And I know my knife 99% of the time will not catch it. You can get so precise. Now, a couple other things that can cause a shredding tip: you press too hard into the cane. So maybe you're pressing down instead of thinking away, especially when you get up to the tippy tip. You want to come off the plaque. Other side. Now, cane can be a huge variable in this as well. If the cane is, I call it mealy cane, then that can really want to shred. So if it's happening repeatedly and no matter what you do, it's shredding, and it's a particular kind of cane that's doing it, I would try a different kind of cane and just see. And if it's still doing it with that different kind of cane, then you know it's something you are doing. But before you go spend money buying new cane, look at your knife technique. In the tip, try to be as close to the tip as possible, to be in control, and angle away from the center. So angle your knife. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. I put together a few guides and I linked them in the description box. One is a link to all the supplies that I recommend if you're just starting out, or if you've been working on reeds a little while and looking to upgrade to some of my favorite products. And then there's also a reed troubleshooting guide where I list some common steps and some solutions on how to fix your reeds. And then lastly, I have the link to the Reed Lab waitlist so you can read all about what that is and how you can get on the waitlist to join. All right, bye.